It's nice to get back home, though.
Yeah, nothing like your own bed.
No, that's for love.
Wish the kids could get away, you know, it'd be just the spot for them.
Yeah, it would do, wouldn't we?
Yeah. You all right, love?
Oh, I feel sick, Shirley.
Oh, it's probably something you've eaten.
Yeah, I expect so. Shirley, I'll over to the side, please, love.
Hang on, Henry. Hang on. Henry! 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 Hang on, Henry. Hang on. Can you help me? Can you help me? Help me! Help me! My husband's had a heart attack. Help me.
I'll ring the ambulance for you.
I'm going to see if I can get some help.
Ambulance. Yes, on the BP Toronto, a man's had a heart attack. He's going to come straight away.
Help! Quick! I think someone's had a heart attack across the road at the petrol station. Okay. Show us where.
Is he all right? Come on.
Excuse me, love. Come on. Let me have a look.
I'll be giving him mouth to mouth.
Right, he hasn't got a pulse. 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000. There's too much movement. We're going to have to get him out on the hard ground. Can you give us a hand to get him out? Just take him arm there. Can you breathe for him again? One, two, three, four, five. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. When I got here, there was no breathing and no pulse. 5, 1. Yeah, I can. 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I can.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I felt helpless just standing there watching, praying that everything was going to be all right, but I could see that those men really had everything under control. They knew what they were doing. I knew that if Henry didn't come out of it, that it wasn't their fault, that they had really worked hard. I don't know how long the time lapse was, but it seemed to me everything was happening in a rush. The intensive care ambulance also pulled up, and it was approximately half an hour, but those men gave it everything they could.
All clear? All clear.
Due to the fact that the person's heart has stopped, their blood needs to be artificially circulated, which means chest compressions. Their lungs have also stopped, and they need to be artificially ventilated, if you like.
Pedals are charged. Right, everybody stand clear, please. Stand clear. Clear.
The shock that's delivered to the person's heart, or the defibrillation, for its correct medical terminology, is an attempt by the service to restart the person's heart by an electrical shock. And the heart works on electrical impulses, so we're hoping to wipe out, if you like, all the abnormal impulses and restart it again with one major electrical shock.
No, you're still in VF, Jeff.
Okay, another shock in?
Yeah.
5, 1, 2, 3.
Okay, pedals are charged. All clear.
The process of shocking a person can be successful at the first instance, but we can go on to about 10 or 12 times.
Yep. 5.
Charge up the paddle.
2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2,
Okay.
3, 4,
Righto.
5.
Stand clear.
Clear.
All clear. Clear. Okay, we've got a rhythm on the monitor here. We've got an output.
Yep, yeah, we've got an output here for sure.
Okay.
He's got spontaneous rest too. It's rest for return. We've restarted his heart. He's got a pulse back. He's got his respirations back. So he's still quite ill, but there's hope that he could make a good recovery when we get him to hospital.
Thank you.
UKJ now departing scene for John Hunter Hospital with one 60-year-old male patient post-cardiac arrest.
Henry's case is quite a good save. It's because the public and the police there have done CPR on the patient. There's no reason to believe that the patient here won't make an uneventful recovery once we get him to hospital. It's unfortunate that we don't see more of this public participation in CPR, because our save rate could be much higher if the public participated in CPR to a greater degree. If they did, we'd see a lot more cases that are probably going to have a very happy ending, such as Henry's here.
The patient is still intubated, has a blood pressure of 130/85, and perfusion's good, pupils reacting, and our ETA is approximately 12 to 15 minutes away.
Is that enough, Vickies? To me, it's a miracle. We've just had our 41st wedding anniversary, and seeing that that was 4 years ago, and when I lay in bed of a night and I can reach out and know that he's there beside me, and there's many times that I still utter up a prayer for those men who knew what to do.
Hello, Pa.
Hello. Let me see you do a somersault.
People just don't understand, and you might be going along in your life and then suddenly it's all over, and you didn't plan it to be that way. But anyhow, we've been given a second chance, and I'm just so grateful.
It's great to be alive, to be able to see the grandchildren growing up, and even be able to walk out and listen to birds. Well, I'd say thank you very much to all those that helped. I don't remember anything about seeing you, but I thank you, and really from the bottom of my heart.
Well, you can have the greatest equipment in the world, but if no one's doing CPR for those critical minutes before you get there, then it's useless. You have to have someone continuing the body functions of CPR till you get there, and then you can go along and do all your whiz-bangery.
Sometimes we come along and somebody's doing it very successfully, and it makes it a lot easier for the fellas when they get on scene.
It's more the exception than the rule that people are just standing back and doing nothing rather than working on the patient. And quite often it's younger people. When I say younger people, people around the 40-year bracket that, have a long time to live if only somebody would give them some CPR. I can't think in the last year out of the cardiac arrests that I've been to where possibly only 2 cases out of probably 24 where somebody was actually doing CPR. If those 24 cases, who knows how many of those we would have saved.
Sure, we've all had instances where we've had what we call a reversion, where they've got the heart going again, take to hospital, and only to find that either that day, that night, maybe in 2 days, they've actually died because their brain has been dead. The heart's going fine again, but the brain's been dead, and the only reason for that is that nobody was doing adequate CPR.
What a job.
The city centre of Seattle doesn't look any different to 1,000 other cities. But there is something special about this place. The unique difference is that it's the safest city in the world in which to have a heart attack, to drop dead on the street. And the thing that makes the difference is that almost certainly a passerby will know how to perform CPR, will know how to keep your heart pumping until the paramedics can get here and do their job.
Paramedic 133, the address of the problem, please.
1819 Northwest Market.
And what do you have out there today?
There's a customer out front. You sure?
Need to find out if they're breathing normally. It's really important.
Okay. There's a bus stop right out front. 825, medic 32, and medic 44 on F3, 20 Avenue and East Union Street. Engine 25, 825, medic 32, medic 44 on F3, 20 Avenue and East Union Street.
He wasn't breathing. I slapped him a couple times and said, hey, you know, and then I screamed to somebody, call 911, and I started doing CPR. And
Shock advised. Everybody clear. We're shocking. Ready? Shock. Coming to reanalyze.
Yes, I was on my way to work, actually, and I saw that there was a few people standing around, and some people got off the bus because they knew the man, and so the bus drivers almost to pull away, and I couldn't pass and know it, and so I jumped off the bus and did as much as I could remember, and but he had no pulse and no breathing.
Our arrival patient was without pulse, without respiration, CPR ongoing.
Okay, shocking. Looks like we got some raising.
The first thing that we observed in dealing with patients that had cardiac arrest outside the hospital was that if someone was there and could initiate CPR, that the outcome was typically pretty darn good. So that was 20 years ago or more that we began to think about trying to get more people able to initiate CPR before the fire department arrives on the scene. There's no doubt about it. It does make a difference.
About 10 minutes. We have good peripheral pulses.
The first observation we reported was about a twofold increase in survival if bystanders had initiated CPR as compared to the fire department ones. And we've looked at this thing half a dozen times since then with the data that's available. And it always comes out that there's a substantial increase in survivability and an improved neurologic function if bystanders can initiate CPR.
Okay, let's have a snowball fight. Now wait a minute. Oh! I had known I had a heart problem for a few years prior to my heart attack. Never really thought that, even with a heart problem, I never really imagined that I would have to be resuscitated. And so, you have a heart problem, but still you don't even, realize or accept the fact that someday it might be you being resuscitated. So. No, it's never you. It's always the other guy.
Since I'd had the course so many times, the refresher courses, I think I just went automatically. There's so many emotions going through you at the time. Here's the person you love dying, and you have all of those feelings inside of you, and you have to be able to react because there's just so much happening. And so I would have to say that it just came pretty automatic to me what to do.
Please give it to me.
I was pregnant, so I was 4.5 months pregnant with our first child, and at that moment and many times since, I've thought that there would have been a chance that he might not have lived, and I would have been left alone with a little baby who never would have known her daddy. So we're very, very thankful that he's still here, and in fact, we have 2 more children, and we have a wonderful family, and it wouldn't be that way at all if it wasn't for CPR.
Brian!
No more snow.
Brian!
Medic 1, the address, please. Is that a house or an apartment? Are they breathing normally?
Timeout 10:50 hours. Engine 25, A25, Medic 32, and Medic 44, 20 Avenue and East Union.
Medic 32. 32, okay. That's a man down, ongoing CPR. Yeah, engine 25 at.
Where's the CO2 detector, Troy?
Right here, I got it on you.
Is that a milligram? Yeah.
We're seeing an 80-plus-year-old gentleman said to have had a seizure.
The reason why it has caught on and is a part of this community is not so clear. Part of it is, I think we have sort of a small town atmosphere in Seattle. Seattle is a big city, but I think there is a community spirit that leads itself to trying to help your friend or your relative or whatever, to help someone from a medical catastrophe.
Engine 25, 2002, East Union. Yeah, engine 25 at.
We need to use you on a medic response with engine 37.
Okay, tape underneath the Lance's foot.
All right.
Okay, what now?
Yeah, I just need to tape this side V down.
Over the years, it's been pretty much understood in our community that with citizen CPR, you more than likely will double your chances of long-term survivability and cardiac arrest. And we got this through Dr. Cobb's study and his ongoing study of cardiac arrest in our community.
Seattle's the best place to have a heart attack. You probably heard that 6 out of 10 people survive. The reason for that is this program that you're involved in. One of the reasons, the Medic 2 program. Okay, there's some of you that just need the refresher, so what I'm going to do usually ask you is what number, what address.
Are you okay? Are you okay?
Help.
Help.
Okay, 2 breaths. Pinch your nose. Make a chest rise.
Something like 2/3 of the citizens in the city and in suburban King County have had some type of training in CPR.
Okay, good job. There you go.
Have you taken a CPR course?
Yes, I work for a school district and it was required every 3 years.
Yes, I have. I took it when the Veterans of Foreign Wars had it at their post, and there was about 25 of us took it.
I used to drive school bus, and so we were required to, but all my friends took it along with me, and they didn't even have to.
You call for help. Call 911. I have a female in cardiac arrest, and please come back.
Redmond High School, where I went to high school.
So you'd still know how to do it?
Yeah, I want to get a refresher course, but I do know how to do it.
Pinch your nose. Head way back, far as it'll go.
If you're doing it solo, isn't it like 2 breaths and then 15 pumps? Is that right?
You've got it, yeah.
Okay, and then if you're doing it with somebody else, it's 1 and 5?
That's right.
Okay, see? I still remember.
Blow 2 times.
I have a fairly good understanding of how to give CPR.
Oh. You've done a course, have you?
Yes, I have. Twice, and I've actually given it.
A little faster.
We are required at work to have them at least every year.
Through my company. I took a class, 1-day class on it.
you never know. It may happen on a city bus, it may happen in the office, it may happen in a home. And I think that we're fortunate here in Seattle that people are ready to do this, this action. It was fortunate for me that I had people right in the office that knew how to do the work right away.
We make the system respond very quickly. We like to think everybody gets help in about 2 to 5 minutes. The early care of any other major medical problem, childbirth, pediatrics, GI bleeding. Telephones. Send a strip to the doctor. 600,000 people have learned CPR is the extent of the education.
That 6 out of 10 people survive. Reason for that is this program that you're involved in. One of the reasons, the Medic 2 program. Another reason is that 911 is a free phone call to any phone booth. Thing you have to do is call. You don't need any money. Another advantage is telephone CPR. If you call down, you don't know how to do it.
And I heard him say there's going to be no CPR, and I couldn't pass and know it. And so I jumped off the bus and did as much as I could remember. But he had no pulse and no breathing. So
for the hospitals, they had a volunteer fireman come in and do the course.
So it's worthwhile knowing.
Oh, I'm sure it is, yes.
10 and 11 and 12 and 13 and 14 and 15.
Okay, remember, hands are going to be up here now.
Dave, we're just going to replace these spaces here now. Righto?
We're going to have to do those other ones on the other line too. Yeah. Quick, get down, Dave, he's been hit.
We knew something was fairly amiss when the blue flash come from the dropper through his shoulder and out through his back.
Come on, hurry up!
I knew we were in sort of fair amount of strife. He wasn't moving, I couldn't move him, I couldn't get any reaction out of him. So I dropped the bucket down to the ground, or back down to the folded up level.
Come on, hurry up! Come on!
I realised time was of the essence, so I did what I could by myself.
Get him down here. Let's get him out of the bucket.
him down. Back. Put him down. I've been doing CPR since I was probably 11 or 12. I started in first form at high school.
Neil, you go over to Tommy Gower and go to the ambulance station. You go to the gate and wait for somebody to come to the gate. One, two, three.
At the time, you don't really, you don't get time to think.
7, 8, 9.
It's going through
10,
your mind, am I doing it right? All these years I've had the
12,
training,
13,
after I left school, I
14.
was in the Navy. They also trained you in mouth-to-mouth resuscitation, and when I left the Navy, I started work for Pacific Power, and they run 2 or 3 courses every year. I think that ongoing training through by the employer for his employees is important as the school part of the training.
6, 7.
I continued on with the CPR and the cardiac massage.
11, 12.
And that went on for about 10, maybe 15 minutes. Then the paramedics, the chopper and the ambulances arrived and they took over.
Stand clear.
Given the colour of the patient at the moment, it's obvious to us from our experience that there's been excellent CPR given to this patient.
5.
That's good. I can feel your compressions coming through.
We had a fairly long running time to come to the job, in excess of 20 minutes. Now, just depending how he responds from the DC shocks or the electric shocks that he's going to be given, and following with some stimulating heart agents like the medications we're going to give, providing we can shock his heart now, we may have a good chance of re-stimulating his heart.
2.
Okay.
3.
Charging up. He's still in course VF, Terry. I'll shock him again.
Okay.
2.
Okay. Power's on.
5.
Go.
Okay, stand clear, everyone. Just 1 second, Ian. It looks like his heart has restarted. In fact, it has. It's a good sinus rhythm that we're recording there at the moment. Considering this particular save here today, it's an outstanding one. But nevertheless, 2 of the best recorded saves in the district have been 33 minutes and 45 minutes respectively. Righto, his blood pressure at 120 on 60. I think he's making an excellent recovery. Gee, you know, Ian, without what you've done, mate, this guy just wouldn't be alive. He's doing really, really well because of just doing CPR and staying on the job. I might get you to come round here and we'll just get you to assist his ventilation because he's not breathing all that well. But it seems to be picking up by the minute. You can put the drip down with me if you like. Ian, you might in fact hold that drip up for me. Just there. Since you've been doing it so well, you can do a bit more for us, eh? Look, you can be really proud of yourself. He's a young man and he's going to make an excellent recovery by the look of this.
I think that it's imperative that particular point between the time the accident happens and when the paramedics arrive that you know CPR so you can give them at least a fighting chance at staying alive.
I've only got the memory of what happened after it and how the accident changed my life, more or less. We had some courses at work and it was sort of impressed on you how important it was, but I never thought it'd be used in regard to me or anyone I'd know. I think most people treat it in that regard, that it won't happen to me, and sometimes people bury their head in the sand and don't sort of bother about learning the procedure. The sooner they get out there and learn it, at least enough for it to stick unconsciously in their head, the better off the whole community would be.
Major damage when the heart stops is to the brain, and if there's no blood flow to the brain for about 4 or 5 minutes, then the brain suffers irreversible damage. So it's absolutely critical after a heart attack when the heart has stopped to get that heart going again, and that's why the bystander CPR is so important.
And the same applies to drowning or electrocution?
Same applies to any sort of cardiac arrest, whether it's from electrocution, whether it's from drowning secondary to respiratory problems, or whether it's from a heart attack. You've got to get that heart going again and get the blood back to the brain.
To see me, you know, with 2 kids and a wife and a parent still there and everybody's sort of happy again, and that's life. It makes you appreciate life, I think.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for your kind invitation here this afternoon. And on behalf of the New South Wales Ambulance Service, and particularly the group within the service called Project Restart, we'd like to thank you for coming along. People have a difficulty in understanding just how the brain and the heart fit together, but to harness the general population into firstly knowing how to recognise heart attack and then knowing what to do about it. Perhaps go forward and talk others into learning CPR, because what we've realised is that less than 10% of our general population know anything about life-saving procedures. One of the most important factors that we're trying to get across to the public at large is being able to recognise heart attack, and it can be easily demonstrated by someone who's fainted. And we find day in, day out around the city, people who have merely fainted only to find some person on top of them providing heart massage and then mouth-to-mouth, or trying to attempt mouth-to-mouth resuscitation when really they don't need it. So if someone has collapsed in the venue that you're at, merely by shaking them and ask, "Can you hear me? Can you hear me?" and a really vigorous shout will establish, when someone has fainted, that indeed they're okay.
Quick, hurry up. Ring 000, ask for the ambulance, tell them your father's had a heart attack, and don't forget to give them our address.
Hello, yes, could I please have the ambulance? Hello, ambulance? Yeah, my dad's just had a heart attack. He's on the floor and he's not breathing at all. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 2.
How long do you think that'll be? Mummy thinks I'll be about 10 minutes.
1, okay, now 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15.
By placing the heel of our hand on the forehead and the forefinger and thumb on the nose, we can easily pull the patient into the sniffing air position. By placing our other hand in what we call the pistol grip, and by slightly pulling the jaw forward, we actually bring the tongue off the back of the throat, providing a nice clear passage for air to enter the patient's lungs. And so by breathing gently into the person, we can breathe for them, like so. Find the centre of the chest at the bottom, choose the notch at the top of the rib cage, joining our thumbs into the middle and choosing the lower third, we place the heel of our hand in that position and press rhythmically up and down once a second.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11,
Is there anything
12,
I can do?
13, 14, 15. Okay, you put your hand there and measure that. Okay, go.
1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000. 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000. 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000. 1,000, 2,000,
Good girl, keep
3,000,
going.
4,000, 5,000.
Keep the life-saving process going till an electric defibrillator arrives. I can say that quite definitely because we come along, and in many instances the heart is quite resilient. We'll be able to successfully restart the heart, but there's no way we can restart the brain if you haven't started that life-saving technique first up. And motivate us in some way to perhaps go forward and talk others into learning CPR, with Australians either knowing little. So what are we going to do about it? Well, I think education is the only way to approach the subject, and what we're trying to do is educate classes exactly the same as yourselves here today, so that when you leave here today at your next barbecue or community outing or group that you're involved with, that you get together and someone eventually somewhere the subject comes up, and you encourage people to go and learn at one of the many venues around our city, learn how to do CPR, and we'll put more Australians back into circulation. Wouldn't it be a happy day that we could do exactly what they're doing in Seattle?
1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000. 1,000, 2,000,
Press hard.
4,000, 5,000. 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000.
One more.
Hey?
One more.
There's some over there.
Basically, we've been moving boxes all weekend, having just had moved into the place. And I came home from work on Monday afternoon, and the kids had been for a swim, been in the water, been for a swim, brought them inside, got their tea and everything, and had slipped downstairs to get something out of a box.
You can have all mine.
I came up the stairs, the hairs on the back of my neck just stood on end. I just knew, you know, that something was wrong. But it was like I was moving in slow motion. You know, it was just like I couldn't hear properly, and it was just like it was happening to someone else. I was somewhere else watching what was going on. It was just really severe shock. The whole neighbourhood must have heard me. She was just all blue and bloated.
Help me, please! Get in the pool! She'll take the baby, she's been in the pool! Stay, I'll get an ambulance, stay there, I'll get an ambulance.
Oh no, look at her, she's all blue.
Hello, is that the ambulance? Look, mate, I've got a baby here that's been drowned. She's not breathing and she's blue.
On first looking at her, I thought she'd gone. I realised at the time that I'd have to do CPR on her. I'd never done it before. I've never really been taught to do it, but it was only what I'd read in books.
Oh, is she breathing?
She's gonna be all right.
Come along, Julie's with her. Rang the ambulance, they're coming right away now.
First, nothing happened, and we just persevered and tried to remain calm. After a little while, she started to cough, and slowly she settled down. And
She's starting to breathe. She's started breathing again. She's started breathing.
Baby's breathing. She's breathing now.
I've been here. She's started breathing.
With this case, it appears that the person who was giving expired resuscitation has adequately reinflated the child, and the child's own respiratory mechanism has taken over, and the child has survived without a full CPR, which simply means that the child has been respiratory failure and not a complete cardiac arrest. Expired air or EAR resuscitation is used when one can feel a pulse but respirations of the patient have ceased. You find by giving EAR only, the patient will begin to breathe, or you can at least keep them alive until further assistance arrives on scene.
You did a marvellous job. Actually, you've saved the bub's life. If more people could do this, we'd have a lot more saves.
Oh, I'm just so relieved that I could do something for the baby. Just so relieved.
I'm just so glad that I didn't have to say to my neighbour, I don't know what to do, and all that time would be ticking away. I'm just so glad that somewhere in the back of my mind I knew what to do. All I can say is to anybody who's thinking, oh, I should do a St John's course or I should find out about CPR, all I can say to you is to do it, because you never know when it might be you.
And 3 years later, to the day, she's like a little fish in the water. Well, I went and did a course, a St John's ambulance course, as soon as I got my breath back, virtually after what had happened. I just feel as if it happened to somebody else, I'd be able to do the same as what they did for my child. I think everyone should do it.
If you can save a life, I mean, it's a wonderful thing to be able to do.
Hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Shake the patient. The patient's not responding. Put the patient on their side. Use your fingers to clear any solids out of the airway, and fluid will drain out of the airway. I don't have a pulse. The patient's not breathing. Looking, listening and feeling. Adequate neck extension and give 5 inflations. Now commence one person CPR, coupled by the sternum, grab the middle point, heel down.
I would advise everybody in some way or another to
you know, have the opportunity to learn how to do it.
I think it should be a compulsory from primary school up. Everybody should learn it.
I think CPR is very important. I think every human being should take the time, because it doesn't take much time to learn. It only takes maybe 3 or 4 hours out of one's, you know, entire day, maybe once or twice a year, to learn and keep up to date with the latest CPR techniques.
Things can happen so quickly, and knowledge of CPR can save lives. That's the fact.
Well, you seem to be living proof.
Yeah, I guess I am, aren't I?
Did as much as I could remember.
1,000 people have learned CPR is the extent of the education.
When I started doing CPR, and then you know, you go ahead with CPR. If that looks like a good vein, let's go ahead and drop that.
Understood in our community that with citizen CPR, you more than likely will double your chances of long-term survivability and cardiac arrest.
It clearly is possible to teach the public adequate techniques for CPR to allow patients to survive.
Sometimes people bury their head in the sand and don't sort of bother about learning the procedure. The sooner they get out there and learn it, at least enough for it to stick unconsciously in their head, the better off the whole community will be.
If you have that desire to go and learn or think, yes, I really should do that, go and do it, because it might be the most important thing you ever do in your life. To have to turn away a mother with a baby who's nearly drowned, or anything else you might come across, it would be a devastating experience. So go and do it, it's most important.